Let me record. Okay. So back, like I was saying, anytime you create a function like this, you declare it. It's declaration. Like what we did here in this place here, it is the declaration. And you see that here, you say here we print. Okay, sorry, here we cannot. Okay, so this number here is a variable and it's holding a data type of integer. So we cannot call it because it's not a function. You can only call a function. But how do we get this value? And for the get this value, we have to use a function that can get this value for us. And that is why we are using print. Okay, that's why we are using print num. So when you print it now, this print now we go and get this value for you. But now in the case of function, you cannot say print this function without calling it first. Okay, and you can also print the function if it returns a value. But here the function return a value. Okay, so now let us try. Let's try this thing first. Let's try it here. No, let's say classroom 2. Let's say classroom 2. Wale. Okay. All right. So let me try and run this now. Let's see what it tells us. Okay. So you can see now that Wale here, we're trying to print directly. We are printing the function, this classroom 2. Let me comment this one out. We're trying to print this classroom 2 directly. And you see now that it prints Wale for us. It's correct, right? And the reason is because this function, this classroom, it returns a value. It returns value. Yeah, it returns student. So if this thing does not return anything, it will not print anything for us. It will print empty. Let's see it. Can you see now? It say expected. Okay, let me use this word first. Let me use print student. Print student 1. Let me try and run this. Okay, so can you see the difference now? Can you see? Hello, can you hear me, please? Are we there?
Yes.
Yes.
Then pay attention here very well.
We can hear you, but it's a bit
okay.
It's a bit
confusing, right?
Yes, confusing.
It will confuse you, and this is where you need to pay the attention. So now let me explain to you. You see classroom 2, we define the classroom as a function name, and this is the braces that is holding the parameter, and this student 1 is the parameter we want to work on. So now we are now saying that this function should print students. Should print what? Student 1, which is this anything that will pass into this function. This function will take it and print it for us. But here we are also trying to use the word print classroom 2. We pass in Wale, and it's telling us that it is none. Okay, where is this? Okay, let me clear this thing first so that you can understand. Okay, it prints. So now you see now this thing is splitting to value. Where is this one? This is what I don't want to. This one I want to print out. Let me comment this one out. Okay. All right. So let me now rerun it for you so that you will see. So now you're still printing Wale and none. And now you can see that we have two print function here. We have print function, print function inside that classroom. Then we have an external print function that is trying to print the value of this. And that is why we are getting none. Basically, this is not supposed to return none to us, because in this function, we are not returning any value. It is only printing it to the console. It is not returning it to the user. I am the one calling it now. Here I am the user. In this place, I am the user now. I am calling this function. But I am not calling it that I am trying to print it. So because this function is not returning any value, it's only printing a value to the console. So it will not return any value to me. So that is why you see here, this Wale here. It is printing this Wale because inside this function, the function prints Wale. It is printing this to the console. But this none here is the user. So I am the user here. It is not printing anything for me because this function does not print, does not return any value. So now if you now come here now, if you say return student one to the user to call this function, return student one. So now let us comment this one out now. You will see that the two of them will print, it will print Wale. Now that is printing one Wale. It's printing Wale now. And now do you know why? This one is not, it's printing only Wale from me. It's returning Wale from me as the user, but it's not printing it to the console. This console here, this terminal here is the terminal for the for this application, for this code, and for the user as well. I am interacting with this code using this terminal. Okay, so that is why it's not it. But here, if you return both of them and print it, it will return this value to me. It will print this value to the console. Let's run it. So now, can you see now? It's printing only Wale. Is because Python is seeing these two value as one. So it will print it. So it basically, in normal sense, it is sending that value to me and it's printing it to the console. That is what I mean. But here, this code is what is redundant. What I mean redundant is that it's a repetition. We don't have to use it because it's almost meaning the same thing. So now I'm just going to cancel this print. Then it returns this value. Then I'll print this value for the user. So it's returned the same Wale. So that is it. So now the last one I want to explain now. Do we understand that now?
Not really. Not really at all.
No,
Not really.
no.
We're actually trying our best to understand.
Okay,
it.
all right.
We understand it will not take 1 day to understand everything.
Okay, I understand. I get that you may not understand very well, but I'll go over it once again. But let me quickly explain the second one before I go over it for the last time. So this student here. So now let me clear this. Let me comment this one out. It does not have effect. So when you comment anything out, the Python will not print it. It will overlook it. So now here you can see that I pass in student here. This student is a constant value, and anytime you pass it to the function, it is represented a string. Okay, it is represented a string. But here, if I comment it now here, now let's come here now. Let's see what it will tell us. Can you see now? It's not showing anything now. It's not showing anything here. Abi, this means student does not have any data type. But as soon as you assign it here, and whatever you assign it to here is what? It's a string here. It will bring out here. Can you see that it is a string now? So now if I put this in now, if I say it is 2, it is 4, for instance, you see now it will bring out integer. Can you see now? Yes. Can you see that from here? So it's bringing out integer. It is already automatically understanding what this data type is. So so and what I'm trying to say is here we call, let me remove this Wale. If you call, okay, we are calling this function classroom2. We are calling this function now without this, with these braces. Okay, so if I remove these braces and I'm trying to print, and I say A is equal to classroom, and I say print A for me, you will see that it will not print this thing. It will tell me that this thing is an object. Let's see what it will tell us. Can you see now? it tells me that this is a function. The time is a function. You can see from here in the console. The function classroom at this thing. Does anybody understand what this thing means? Does anybody understand it?
I don't.
Yes.
Okay, what
Since we define it as a function
okay,
from dev classroom,
okay,
and he's seeing it as a function when you are printing it out as an
okay,
output.
okay,
If
brilliant.
I'm right.
Okay, brilliant. So what does this classroom at this number mean? What does this thing mean? Do you know this? Because now you get this one. You say this is a
We can't really see it. We can't really see it from here.
okay, you can't see it, eh?
Yes,
Let me see if I
for
can.
me.
Okay, I have I've expanded.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, I've expanded it now. So can you see it now?
All
This thing is
right.
what I want to see. What does this
I
thing
think
mean?
it's showing us it's showing us, and I think at what I'm
Okay,
seeing here is
all right.
more or less like
you know,
a.
Let me explain to you. You are trying. I like that.
All right.
You got this one that it is a function, Abi. Good.
Yeah.
And this classroom,
Yes.
you say this is the function name, function classroom. This is the name of the function, classroom 2. You are printing this classroom 2, which is in the storage location of this. This is the storage location. This is where the value is. This function, this is where it is stored
Okay.
on your system. Because every this thing here, every variable, every line of code you are creating here, they have a storage. We call them storage, where they are stored on the computer system. There's a particular amount of storage that the system assigned to them. Each of these you create. So storage is very important in your program, but we'll get to that later in the future. But it's telling you now that here you are printing, you are not calling this function, you are not calling it. You are only making a reference to this function, which is in this storage, which is at means this location, this location. You are saying A, you assign classroom 2, which is this function. You assign it to A. A is a variable you create. It's a constant variable. Any variable that can be changed. Sorry, not a constant variable. It's a variable that can be changed. You assign classroom to it. And the value of classroom is a function here. And this classroom, you are not calling it because you didn't put the braces there. And you are saying printing, hey, when you print this classroom now, it's telling you that it is a function and a classroom is the name. And this classroom is stored at this particular storage location. That is what it means. But now, if we call this function now, so if we call this function now, if we call it and I put Kemi and put Kemi, and now let's print it now. But here now we have called this function now, and this basis now is seeing that you are calling. Anytime you put this calling base now, you are calling. You want to get the value of this function, and this function here, we pass in parameters, and it is expecting what we call arguments. Anything you supply here is called argument, not a parameter again. Okay, do you understand that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, very well.
yes,
Very well.
yes,
At
yes.
the point you are defining a function here, and you specify the name,
It's
and
called
you pass in
parameter.
anytime is called parameters. And as soon as you define it and user is trying to call it, anything that is, because this thing is expecting one argument, which is one student. So now now you can see that here, if you say it is if you pass in 2 parameters, for instance, and we try to call it with just one argument, it will throw error. It will throw error at all. Can you see now? I say classroom 2 missing one required positional argument, which is name. It's telling you that you pass in 2 parameters and it's expecting you to put 2 parameters, but you are supplying one argument. So 2 arguments, you are supplying one argument. So where is the second argument? Now if you supply another argument here. Say it is what? It is Ali. It is Ali. It will accept it now. Can you see now?
Sorry, sorry. Can I
Okay.
quickly ask question here before I? All right. On this function we declare up here, that classroom two that has parameter students one and name.
Okay.
That means we can call it like 10, like we can call it like 10 times with different variables.
Exactly. You can call it with. You can call
All right.
it another. Let me. Sorry. Shift. Sorry. Okay. Let me just do it like this. Okay. Let me say B Amy Alimat. Okay. So now we are calling it 2 times. Okay. We're calling it 2 times. So now I'm going to print this. Let me print it. Print
A and B.
A and B. So if you print it now, can you see now? Kemi and Amy. Can you see? It's printing, it's returning
Yes.
one here. Don't forget that we are not returning the two parameters. We are returning just one.
Okay. Okay.
If you return,
Okay.
the name also, okay? If you return the name also, it prints all the value for us. Can you see now? Can you see the
Yeah.
value?
Okay. I'm getting it.
Okay,
I'm
so
getting it now. I'm
this
getting it.
value now, it put it inside what? Inside what you call tuple, right? Put it inside tuple for you.
Yes.
So that is why he's telling you that you can call this as many times as you want with different arguments. So I'm sure you'll be able to understand the difference between parameters and arguments. This, anything you supply during the construction time. This is the construction time, the time you are constructing this
The
function,
function
is what we call parameters. And the data you supply when you are calling it are
is
called
called argument.
arguments. So those are the two differences between them. So, and I think that is all for that. Is there anything I have not explained here? Maybe anything that I missed?
That which you said you are coming back on to before you explain this.
What's that? I think I've missed something here. Oh,
Now I can't really say straightforward because I didn't understand it. That topic we were doing before you came into this explanation of parameters and arguments, calling functions and things like that.
okay. All right. So what I'm saying is this: you define a function here, Abi, and that function is a
Yes.
with braces, and it has parameters. And when you are calling it, you see from here, if you call it, if you don't assign any variable to it, okay, if you don't assign any variable to it, if you call it, come and see what it will tell you. It will not print it out to the console for you, but you are calling it in already, and it is this thing returning this value, but you are not printing it out. If you run it now, can you see now it's not printing anything out? But in the background, it has already called this function. Okay, it has already called this function with this argument. As soon as you put these braces here, you are calling the function. If you don't put these braces here, you are making a reference, you are referencing that function, this function at the storage where it's stored in your system. Do you get me?
So we have to put the braces so that we can call it.
Exactly. You have to put the braces. When you put the braces, you are calling that function, you are getting the value to yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
so now,
what about? Okay, go ahead.
But here, we can print it. We can print this to the console without assigning variable to it. Okay. But there are conditions where you don't need to print it out. You are just going to be assigning variable because you are going to be using that variable in another places. But here we can print it out as a developer. Now, because we are just using testing, we are just test running, and that is why we are printing it out. We are test running. And don't forget that there are two functions here. We are using function to call a function. Okay, this print is a function. It is a keyword, a reserved function for Python. So we are using it to print this function, which is classroom. So there has to be two braces, four braces, sorry. The brace for this print, and inside this print, that's where we have this function classroom. So if you run it now, it will print it for you. Can you see now? It's printing it for you. So it's the same thing when you assign a variable to it, and you assign a variable to this one, and you are printing the variable. Okay, but now what this one is doing is that it's going to print it on a line, on a straight line for you. The other one, you say we print it differently. This one is printing them together because we are using printing it inside one function. So you can see now it's printing on a straight line. Okay. But you can print in this one on a different line. You can say, you can use the word, you can use another line. Okay, this /n means new line in Python. If you do not understand, and it has to be quotes. This one will print another an empty line, empty space. I mean, if you put this, it will print this A, it will print this empty line, and it will now put this B in another line.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I did it here. There has to be comma here. There has to be comma there, so that you understand that this is a what? This is something to print separately. This is another thing to print separately. This is another thing to print separately, based on what this function does. And if you over it, your mouse, you can see what this function, the definition prints. Values is equal to object. Separation, optional text, which is comma, then end. So if you go and read it very well, you understand that one is actually not significant, not immaterial. So if you print it out now, can you see it prints in no line?
Yes.
You're not supposed to print it this way, but let me just do this. Let me. Okay. Okay, I think I use instead of backslash, I use forward slash. You understand me? So it's backslash, it's not forward slash. So when you use this backslash now, can you see?
Yeah.
So I place them in different line. So this is backslash now. I think it has turned yellow. The other time it was red. It means it's not. It's just a string. So it's going to print it. So that is the test Python to print another line. That is all about that now. So at this point I hope we all get one or two things or the other. So it is question time. I'm allowed to take question for the next 10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, I have to say, for your time.
You're welcome, sir.
And your grace. Thank you so much.
Grace of God.
I'm quite new to this, so I think I'm lacking the basics. But even without getting to know the basics, I can say I learned a lot from what you have explained so far. I've learned about function. I've also learned about parameters and arguments, and the braces. Also, why you should put braces and the function of braces. That when you in a function, if you are inputting a data, it is called a parameter. But when you are inputting the same data, it is called an argument. If you want to call it,
yes,
it is called an argument. Exactly.
Yes.
So, but my question is, if you are going to put, instead of a single brace, if you're going to put a double brace, what does that signify? That's number one question. Then number two question, is there anywhere I can or we can go and learn these symbols? Like you just mentioned that when you put backward slash and end, it means a new line. So is there anywhere we can go and learn these symbols and their meanings in programming? That's number two question. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. Let me quickly answer that number two first. there are tons of materials online that you can get, but sometimes the problem of we African, can I use the word African or human generally, is that if you that we don't like to read, we like to take things from the top, and that is the problem. If you desire to know something and you know that there are steps to greater height in life, there is a step 1, step 2, step 3. If you try to jump from step 1, step is 0 to 5, you know that there is probability that that person will fall. So you have to take it from step 1 gradually. So that means you need to find out what are the basics of programming. If you search on Google, if you put it as the basics of programming, you will get tons of material. Even if you go to YouTube, you type in the basics of programming, or if it's the Python you want to learn, basics of Python, you will see it there. Because me, I started learning, taking crash course. There's something we call crash course. Crash course, we break it down to some extent for you. I have read different crash course. In fact, some I didn't even finish some, but some I read it almost here and they are PDF. I even have one PDF I can give you. It is on Python. I can send it to you later, and that one will give you basics for Python, and there are advanced Python later. But when you know the basic, knowing the any update you are seeing there is just for you to just read and understand. You don't have to crack your brain so much. Sure, you understand me? Is that
Yes, sir, I do.
understandable? Okay, all right. So for the
All right,
function,
thank you
for
very
the
much.
first question,
Thank
for
you
the
very much.
first, okay, for the first question, you say, what if we put double brace? So
Yes, please.
let me now come back here. Let us practicalize it. If I put double brace there, when you call this, when you create this function, it is one brace, and the syntax say if you are calling this function, it is just one brace. Okay, so if you are putting double brace, for example here, putting double brace here, and you run it, let us run it. Let us remove that b. Let us print that here. Let's see what it tells us. So you can see now, it said classroom 2 missing one require positional argument, which is name. So you can see now that this is what we call ambiguous meaning. That I told you now, that this is giving Python a different meaning from what you defined initially. Let me now explain to you. You see here, if you click enter, the first, you click enter, you see inside Python will see this first brace and the last brace as the function calling, and anything that is inside that braces, it will see it as the argument. So now you are grouping these arguments now. Okay, this braces now and this one now, it is one argument. This is a group. You are passing in a group, and this means
it's representing student 1.
Is individual, is expecting individual and not a group of person. Okay, this function is not expecting a group, it's expecting individual. Okay, so now so when you pass in this, now this is a group, you are passing it now, is seeing it as what? As a group, and that is why he's telling you that missing one require positional argument. It will assign this whole group to this student. If you see it as student 1
to student 1.
So it is not seeing this student 2. See this name, it is not seeing it. So if you carry the same thing now, if you copy this thing now, I run out of time. Oh. If you copy this thing now, you say comma, and you put another one here, and you say Alima, Anila, and Kemi Sola. So now let me know this now will be correct now. Let us run it now. Can you see now that it is correct now? And it will print all these things for you in as a group.
Yes.
It is beeping. So now that is where the two can be. It depends on the context you are using them. Okay. So now, but if you say you are putting, if you say you are putting, this curly brace now, you put Wale, You put Ali. You put Ali, and in the front now you now put two braces, and let us now run this. Now you will see what it will tell you. Can you see? It said tuple object is not callable. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes.
This point in this context now, you are trying to call something that does not exist. You are calling this function already, this classroom. You have called it with the right argument, and again you are calling another thing again. You are calling tuple, and this tuple now, this is a tuple now. You are calling another thing again. So now that's why Python is telling you that tuple object is not callable. You can't call this. This will give you error. Okay.
Yes,
I hope you understand now.
Yes, I understand. So in case if you decide to put the brace, if you put the double braces while you are writing the function, you can still use it while you are calling the function or calling the function. Yeah.
Yeah. What you are writing now, whatever you put here is what you call. If you don't define double braces here, I mean a group of the student, you can actually call something that is a group. This one is just printing just the value we are getting here for you. That is why you see it is printing that all those values. It is printing all these value for you. Okay, it's because we are just printing now. But if you are, maybe for instance now, you are adding student 1 to name. Maybe student 1 is a integer, and you're adding into this number. Okay, let's please can you just give me 2 seconds? Let me plug my PC. It's almost down.
All right.
Please, I think we have to join for the last time. We have to rejoin for the last time to complete this class for another 10 minutes.
All right, no problem. Thank you for your time.
Okay, all right. I'm back. Hello, are we there?
All right, welcome.
Yes,
you are here.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So what I'm saying
Thank
in
you.
essence, okay,
I'm not going to change.
Okay.
No problem.
What I'm
Ask now
saying.
1-3-1.
This
Then
one.
beat Leicester away. Yes.
Oga.
Can you please mute us all?
Oga, say Jalex. Who is speaking? Is it Jalex or Michael?
No, I'm the one saying you should mute us all. I can see someone saying something about back under the ground.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So okay, what I'm saying, where was I, self? Where was I? What was I trying to explain?
You were at the place of saying you have a low battery. You want to go and plug your system.
There was something I was trying to.
Statement.
There's something I was trying to point out for you here, which is very, very important.
You've actually explained.
Okay, I remember now. So let us now say we are not just returning this value in this function. Okay, let's now say student 1. Let's say results is equal to student. Now let's just say this one is okay, let me say student 1, and this one is age. I now say student 1 plus age. Okay, so now you now return results. Return the result. So if you run this one now, if you now come here now, you now say student 1 is 34 and the age is 20. Okay, now, so now let us run it now. Let's see what it gives us. So can you see now? This is giving us 54. So basically, we are adding these two, whatever argument we pass in here. We are saying that you should just add it together. Add it together and assign the value, the result of this into the variable result. So now return this, whatever we get in the result. So now we are now calling it with two arguments, which is 34 and 20, which are integers. So now it will return 54 for us. We simply add them. So now in that case where the other man is asking that if we put double brace and we say it's 34 and 20, and we say another double brace 54 and 20. 54 and 20. If you now run it now, you see that you will get a very bad result that you are not expecting. Can you see now? Are you there with me?
Yes. You can
Yes.
see. You can see.
You can see that you are getting a result, an unexpected result. This is not the result you are expecting. What is this seeing now is that he's seeing these students now. You are seeing here this one as a group, and he's just adding this one to this one. So what is this? What is happening here is that this is a tuple. You are passing in a list of two arguments and a list of another two arguments. What is it that it will concatenate? It will join this one and this one together. It will now become one list. That is why you see it here. 34, 20, 54, 20. If you just remove this, you just add it into what is, join them as a group. And this is not what you are expecting. That is why I say in the case you are using two brace, you cannot use two brace where it depends on the context of what you define in the function. And you also have to define you have to prepare for what the user will pass in as a programmer. You need to prepare for it to handle it very well, because some people many users, they will pass different arguments to actually break your program. Some will pass it either intentionally or not intentionally. Like a hacker now, this one now, you can see that a hacker now can pass this argument when he already knows what your function does. You can pass an arbitrary or ambiguous argument, and your system, your function, your code will behave abnormal. I hope you understand now.
Yeah.
Okay, so any more question?
Yes.
Any more question, please?
All right. The only question I have now is, are you there?
Yes, I'm here with you.
How do we get the record, all these recordings? Is it via Telegram? Because I know it's not shareable on WhatsApp because of their size.
I will find a way and send it to you. When I compile everything, I'll send it to you. All right, thank you very much, everybody. So I think that comes to the end.
Thank you so much for your time. We can't thank you more.
You made it so easy for me. I told you that this is a new word to me, but now I can really say that I've taken my first step.
Okay, all right, great. You are welcome. So as time goes on, we will have more classes and God will help us. All right, so thank you for everybody. So we discuss on it now.
Bob.
An hour's lecture.
Hello, I can hear you.
Lecture becomes almost 4 hours lecture.
Okay, Bob.
You are good at what you do. You are good at what you do.
Bob, a quick one. Bob, a quick one.